Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, November 15, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps which are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the dice been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook just came out at 6:32 p.m. We can start tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and this is the reason why not really much of anything over here across the Atlantic that's trying to develop at all. There's some troughs here and there, frontal systems here and there, nothing trying to organize into the next name on the list, which is next Nestor. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, ridge of high pressure off the southeastern US, a trough right here in the western Caribbean, a frontal system right here extending from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into the southeastern Bahamas and the greater Antilles. And we see some troughs of low pressure right here across the main development region, and a ridge of high pressure to the north of there that's responsible for sending all of the low to mid-level winds and clouds across the main development region through the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system extending from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of Hispaniola. That's where most of the clouds are now. We can also see the clouds associated with that trough right here affecting portion of Honduras into Nicaragua. We can see the clouds associated with the troughs of low pressure. We can definitely see them spinning down in here. One right here, another one right here. They're both pushing westward, but nothing trying to organize. And even if they were, going to organize, there's a lot of upper level wind shear out there, so cloud tops would definitely be torn off for sure. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, November 15, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some northern parishes in Jamaica, also affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes during Saturday afternoon. And we know that northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 9:16 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you cannot afford to miss. So we can see the clouds that were pushing into the north coast, coming in from the northeast, that brought some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder shower, well, at least isolated shower, if not isolated thunder shower activity to section of the north coast. So sections of St. Anne into St. Mary, sections of Portland definitely got on some of the action. So too did far eastern St. Thomas, even parts of Trelawney got on some of the action. And then by afternoon, look at what happened. A post was made at around 4:35 p.m. highlighting the clouds that bring overcast skies to sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And it was more so southwestern parishes than anything else getting in on the brunt of the afternoon rainfall. I mean, we didn't see much of anything in the Hanover, St. James, Trelawney area in the afternoon, but It was definitely more so confined to sections of Portland, St. Mary, sections of St. Anne, St. Thomas, sections of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. That was where it was focused, and we can see the visible satellite images right here, confirming the same, and even the cloud toss being sheared off to the east by that upper level wind shear, just as we predicted it would in yesterday's video. And we can see the cumulonimbus cloud cover even better, all of these blues into greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. That represents the cumulonimbus cloud activity being sheared off towards the east by that upper level wind shear. And we can make out even the sparkling white dots in there that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, especially across section of Clarendon, Manchester into southern St. Elizabeth. That was where the brunt of today's thunderstorms were. And unfortunately, we don't have the Jamaican Doppler radar imagery to look at because it looks like it glitched out. The live camera here, though, from C Jamaica's YouTube channel confirms that we definitely had rainfall today. This is Maypen, Clarendon. As you can see here, people walking about with their umbrellas, people in their vehicles with their windshield wipers on, definitely soaking wet, to indicate that we definitely were getting in on some amount of light to moderate rainfall at that time in Clarendon. So basically Maypen somewhere right in here, so they definitely got in on some of the rainfall for sure. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, CIMH. This map does indeed paint quite the picture, for we had that rainfall today across especially northeastern parishes in the morning and the afternoon, and section of some southern parishes during the afternoon for sure. And we had some comments that came in here from some of our followers. Active 4081, well 4810, stating rain in his era. We have Yugita Cooper 1133 stating happy Sabbath, blessings everyone, same to you. Had rain, as was mentioned, here in Kingston. We also have some comments here on our Facebook page. Odin Rose stating in St. Mary, it looks like it might rain anytime now. That was posted 9 hours ago. We also have Roy Rain Scarlett posting 3 hours ago, rain in Port Antonio. Paulette Blake Bird posting 3 hours ago, rain in Clarendon. Thanks for confirming. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Malon_1 God underscore stating sunshine 9 hours ago. Maggie Choi Thramani posting 7 hours ago, hot in her area. We have Javon Panton stating Spanish Town sunny. That was 4 hours ago. We have Rick Not Marty stating rain is dominating bad at Portland. That was posted 9 hours ago. We also have Master Auto Parts Jamaica posting 2 hours ago, raining in Four Paths Clarendon. Tanisha_1 stating rain and thunder at Maypen posted 4 hours ago. We also have Marlon_1 got posting 3 hours ago, place dark and some emoji that I can't make out, but when searched it's some rain emoji. So place dark and wet and or rainy. And we have Romeo 9491 sitting Clarendon underwater, and it just started. Alright, thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your ear for today. That was where the rainfall definitely was across section of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, section of St. Thomas, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image here from the Weather News website. The latest Jamaican Doppler radar image, the latest Cuban Doppler radar image, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar image, and the latest Cayman radar imagery. We want to see what's happening right now across the island. Alright, so the latest still image here from the Weather News website is showing 0055 UTC. This is actually 7:55 p.m. So this just came out, what, 14 minutes ago, considering that it is 8:09 p.m. right now. As you can see, just some leftover whitish shades that represent some cloud cover. Nothing in the way of serious weather at all. But more than likely, most of that was left over from today's afternoon rainfalls. But do we actually have rain bands underneath all of that? We don't know. Jamaican Doppler radar is down. Cuban Doppler radar is also down. Looks like it glitched out at around 6:10 p.m. But at that time, we saw some greens into the yellows across the southern parishes, especially the waters to the south of us. That we know represents moderado, that's moderate rainfall, and fuerte, that's heavy rainfall, right here across the southern waters. So it all makes sense, because if you look at the infrared, the thunderstorms were pushing off towards the south for the most part. So it all makes sense that most of the rainfall at that time was south of us. The Guantanamo Bay U.S. Navy radar showing what's happening right now. There we go. Stopping it right there. It's showing 0046, which is actually 746. So we are seeing some rainfall across the western peninsula of Haiti's northern portions. Some rainfall right here near the waters to the south of Guantanamo. We see some rain band, just some light to moderate rainfall just to the northeast of Portland. Nothing to have bad weather across the island at this time, according to this Doppler radar. Unfortunately, we can't even see the western end because the Cayman radar broke down. Sorry, radar images are unavailable at this time. These things happen. These radar is, they go down from time to time. So let's see how tomorrow is. Taking a look here at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the newly installed Ultra Real Saint Anne camera. You can see people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. Definitely a fair evening right now, nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at all, and that should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays as well as the slight blues. That represents what we see here on the key on the right. The grays represent 0, that's average or normal temperatures, while the slight blues represents at least 1 degree Celsius below average temperatures. And it makes sense considering that we have a frontal system up there, so right behind it we have cooler than average temperatures, some sinking air as well. So expect average temperatures. I know the average temperatures for the month of November is around 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica. That's around 31.1 degrees Celsius. So given that we're going to be receiving at least 1 degree Celsius below average temperatures, it should be anywhere from 30.1 to 31.1 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Sunday. And we're grateful we don't see any maintenance outage advisories here over on the eastern side of the island for any part of, these eastern parishes. We don't see any maintenance outages from JPS because, they're hard at work out west trying to restore the power to those persons who are affected by Melissa. They actually posted this today, stating Manchester, our teams are pulling out all the stops. In some areas, we're tackling a massive number of downed poles. We're using all our resources, including specialized digging equipment, to get this complex job done faster and more safely. So they have a lot of work to do. I can just imagine a lot of work to do. So hopefully they all get it all sorted out before Christmas, boy. Alright, moving on. We have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. So if tomorrow is still gonna be a bit too hot for you, it states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold food such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. We still have dry air in and around the Bahamas, the Gulf. We see some dry air extending into the Caribbean all the way from the northwest coast of Africa right here. A lot of dry air. We know that the dry air is responsible for shutting down the basin in general, keeping the atmosphere stable. And that's all we want, more of these days, especially considering that there are so many persons without roofs. We don't want the moist air with all of the clouds. We don't want that at all. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, so we're heading into November 16, 17, and 18. And as you can see here, the Caribbean should still be in the clear from Saharan dust. We know that the Saharan dust is represented by the greens, yellows, oranges, and pinks, and we don't see any of that to worry about at all. And we're indeed grateful for that. And the wave forecast for tomorrow across the Caribbean, still seeing those light shades of blues to blues, represents anywhere from 0.5 of meter wave height all the way up to 1 meter wave height. And that's because of the weak winds that are expected from the east for the most part tomorrow, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots. And if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding our wave forecast for the Fisher Folk, 0.8 of a meter wave height expected to the north of Portland tomorrow. To the south of St. Thomas, we see, what do we see? 0.7 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 0.3 of a meter wave height. To the south of, well, to the north of St. Anne, 0.8 of a meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.3 of a meter wave height. And that is because of the winds that are expected. We see more of an easterly flow across the north coast, even although it's coming down from the windward passage here between Cuba and Haiti. It's more easterly than anything else. Definitely some very weak winds for sure. And we see where the air is expected to pile up across sections of some central and western parishes. That's where we have the least amount of wind. So that is where we could have some low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds for some daytime heating rainfall. And the upper-level winds are still coming in from the west. So we could still get more of this to happen if we actually get some convection tomorrow. Those cloud tops will be sheared off towards the east by that upper-level wind shear. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, they are both valid for 3 p.m. Jamaica time, and we see the blues represent rainfall mainly across sections of some central and western parishes, even although the eastern end is incorporated, maybe section of western St. Thomas, but we see it especially across southern St. Mary, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, southern St. Anne, section of Clarendon, section of Manchester, section of St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland into Hanover, southern St. James, southern Trelawney, and even southwestern St. Anne getting out some of the action. The Euro showing something similar. We'll say it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. And to be honest, the morning was actually showing some rainfall out east as well, but the signal isn't really that strong. But don't be surprised if you get some morning rainfall if you're in maybe far eastern St. Thomas or Portland. It is definitely possible. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here that are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday are in agreement that's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up to at least 0.29 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least 0.25 of an inch of rainfall. And whatever happens, we just have to take it. We're in the month of November, and in Hanover we usually receive 126 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 5 inches of rainfall. In Westmoreland we usually receive 105 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 4.1 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of November, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website will show you that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS Supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Sunday's forecast. Now it is time to look at Monday, and 12 on Monday is actually 7 a.m. and we don't see much of anything across Jamaica. Then on Monday afternoon we're seeing rainfall across especially central and western parishes. Does the GFS show something similar? Nothing for Monday morning. Then on Monday afternoon, rainfall across what looks like southern and western parishes. What do we see on Tuesday morning on the Euro? Tuesday morning, nothing for Jamaica. Tuesday afternoon, not really much, just some dots of greens here and there, maybe some isolated showers. Tuesday morning on the GFS, nothing. Tuesday afternoon, nothing either. What do we see on Wednesday morning? Wednesday morning, not much of anything. Definitely some sunny days coming up. Wednesday afternoon, though, we see some isolated showers pushing into the northeast. What does the GFS show? Wednesday morning, maybe some rainfall across the north coast. Wednesday afternoon, rainfall on the northeastern side. So very interesting. We're starting to get back in on that wet northeasterly pattern, even though the next couple of days we're expecting more of an easterly pattern. What do we see on Thursday morning on the Euro? Northern Jamaica with that moisture again, especially the northeast. Then Thursday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Thursday morning, northeastern parishes with that rainfall. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across northeastern parishes and some southern parishes. What do we see for Friday morning? For Friday morning, maybe some rainfall still across the northeast. For Friday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across some southern parishes. And we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Saturday, November 22. And we don't really see much of anything trying to develop. No area of low pressure, maybe some isolated shores dotting the northeastern end. What does the GFS show for Friday into Saturday? Friday, northeastern parishes still with that rainfall. Then on at the end of the day on Friday, not really seeing much of anything, but we're stopping right here at the end of the 168 hours as well. So this is also valid for Saturday, November 22. And we see rainfall across some northern and eastern parishes right there. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be wherever we have the dark reds into the purples into the pinks. And that is where we see the 2 all the way up to maybe 5 inches of rainfall for sure across the waters to the east of the Lesser Antilles spilling into Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana. We see a lot of rainfall into southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, into eastern Nicaragua, getting in on some of that. And if you look closely, we even see some right here across northeastern Dominican Republic. What do we see on the Euro? Is it something similar? Let us see. Yes, it most definitely is the same spot. Eastern Nicaragua into Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and even portion of Trinidad and Tobago. So you know, all of these areas could definitely get on some isolated flash flooding. While the other areas that are shaded in the green, yellows, oranges, and reds should be getting on an inch of rainfall or less. We're talking about much of Central America into the Greater Antilles and the Leeward Islands. But regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS that are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Saturday, November 22 as well. We're seeing the blues into the greens, into the yellows, into the oranges that represent anywhere from a millimeter of rainfall all the way up to what looks like 90 millimeters of rainfall here in Portland. GFS showing a lot there, but the Euro going up to at least 58 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I will definitely be sure to keep you posted with what occurs. But clearly, northeastern parishes, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, you guys are going to be receiving the brunt of the rainfall over the next 7 days. Alright, so regarding what's happening across the rest of the basin, frontal system definitely brings some bad weather to the Dominican Republic as we speak. Still having a lot of moisture into Central America and northern South America. You can also see some moisture in and around the Windward Islands as we speak too. Let us see the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico before we head down there into the Barbados area. So we see that moisture just to the northwest of Puerto Rico, to the northeast of Dominican Republic. If we load these images from earlier today, we see where we had rainfall across central to northwestern Puerto Rico. Regarding right here on the Barbados radar, we see that moisture in the blues into the greens into the yellows, and some light to moderate and some heavy rainfall out to sea to the north of Barbados. We see some of that already affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago getting on some moisture right now. Regarding the weather VF Doppler radar images, we can see that moisture across section of the Dominican Republic, so too section of northeastern Guatemala, Belize, some rainfall across Colombia too. And regarding what's expected over the next 24 hours, let us find those images. So for the next 24 hours on the, hold on, is it gonna load for me? Okay, so regarding what's expected across the Caribbean over the next 24 hours, so we're just going to the next 36 hours. There we go. So yeah, both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement that within the next 24 hours, all of these areas that are shaded in the green, yellows, oranges, and reds that represents an inch of rainfall or less, these areas should be getting on the rainfall. So we're talking about section of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Barbados, so too sections of southern and western Venezuela, northeastern Venezuela, sections of Guyana, so too Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, so too Belize getting on some of the action. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that forecast. Alright. So what's taking place across the Eastern Pacific? As you can see, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. And this is the reason why nothing trying to get organized. If something is down there, there's a lot of upper level wind shear. Things are just unfavorable for development. So it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting Sonia, Tico, Velma, Wallis, Xena, York, or Zelda at all. Regarding the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific, no suspect areas on both areas. And that's because the infrared showing not much of anything. Looks like hurricane season is done until next year, I guess, for both basins, Indian Ocean, West Pacific, even the East, Central, and well, the Eastern and Central Pacific, as well as the Atlantic, until next year. Hope I'm not speaking too soon. We'll say it actually plays out up until November 30th. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.